Well, good morning. This is try number 3. So obviously I have my own block to look at about being able to do the work I'm here to do as a mom and with interruptions and all that good stuff. So I want to talk today about the next step. So hopefully somebody has listened to the other and has started looking at their blocks, maybe recognizing some of them, or at least realizing that maybe there's something there that needs to be looked at closer. And so where do you go from there? And really you have 2 choices. First, you can continue to live in your pain body. You can continue to have that law of attraction and God's perfect laws. Hey, Rosa Dinah! Oh my gosh, good to see you. All the way over in Barcelona. Good morning. And anyway, so you can point fingers. You can continue to judge the other group or person or situation that continually is showing you your block. But I guarantee it's not going to change, because in God's perfect universe, all the laws of the universe that were created, one of them is the law of attraction, and it's going to continually come back in order for you to heal and feel that emotion. So the second choice is really a better long-term solution, and that's where you actually start dissecting it. And it's just like an onion. There's layers and layers depending on how old you are. I'll give an example shortly of one that took me until 3 or 4 years ago to finally see and go back to the thread of my childhood emotions where that got instilled. And so sometimes it takes a lot of layers and processing and peeling. And that's where the help of healers comes in. We're working with others to maybe highlight, to magnify, to help clear the energy, clear some of those layers in a blast situation can really help. But doing some of the work on your own, you'll at least get some clarity and some depth of moving through and the empowerment that brings. But there's some keys to dissecting, and the keys are a desire for the truth of it, and humility, the humility to actually feel the emotions associated with it. So when you start dissecting the onion, the layer is to go back with the emotional thread. So whatever situation it is, you need to get attached to the emotional thread, feel it, and then just let that emotion take you back by feeling it into situations that were, hi, good morning, Deb. Thanks for joining us. Go back to the situations that were similar. Follow it back through the timeline. Allow it to take you back until all the way you reach your childhood. And so for me, an example, about 3 or 4 years ago, I finally realized that my whole life I have felt like I'm on the outside of an inner circle. You know, in high school, I'm not in the popular crowd. I'm right on the edge. I get invited to some things, not always, but I'm not embraced, on the school campus. I'm not part of it. It happens in college in my sorority. It happens in later groups in work. The inner work circle that has got the boss's ear, or is really, the ones up front. So I found this happen again, finally, about 3 or 4 years ago. I was part of what I thought was an inner circle, and then I was sort of extricated and removed and no longer part of it. And I was lost, and I finally just let myself feel it. And when I was able to follow all the threads back, the most amazing thing, the most amazing realization happened. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have felt like the 5th wheel in my family. I was the 3rd child, so I was number 5 in the family. And there was this natural dynamic of 4, the need now for an extra chair, the need for an extra space in the car, the need for whatever. And so just the family dynamic doesn't mean my family was treating me that way. That was my emotional perception of the situation, that they all had their place. They all had their space and their regimentation and their order to things. And here I came along, and I was the extra that made everything harder. And so I always felt like the 5th wheel. And so until I could get in touch with that emotion and actually feel it, I couldn't release it. And so that's really the key, is following the emotional thread and allowing yourself to go all the way back. Whatever your particular emotional thread is going to be, whatever your block is about. And you know what? We've got small blocks in our life. We've got big blocks in our life. And typically we focus on the big ones because they bring up the biggest emotions. But if you can recognize even a small one that is coming up daily from your dog or from your neighbor or, whatever that could be, start working with a small one and have the realizations of the process so that you can get to the other side and actually go, wow, that worked, that changed. Now I'm ready to tackle a big one. And one of the greatest things about working with help, with a healer or a empath, is someone who can take you into that space when you've got something chronic or continuous going on. And if your soul is ready to deal with it, it will come up when you're in that room with that healer. And so they can usually pinpoint it. They can usually take you back to the thread really quickly and help you break through and release it. So that's the gift of working with healers. And that's part of why I teach classes and part of why I am involved here in trying to get what I do and what others do that are aligned with me. Some amazing people that I'm working with now, group of healers that we're all moving through great big things. And I had another one come up last night. So, and obviously again this morning I've got another block of being able to create and do the work that I'm here for while being a mom and finding time for that and finding the balance. So I hope you have an amazing day. I hope this takes you to the next step, and we'll see you next time. Bye.